The council chamber stretched high above the gathered delegates, a vast dome of crystal that showed the stars beyond. Minho Kim stood at the human podium, his hands clasped behind his back. He wore the simple gray uniform of Earth's diplomatic corps. Around him, hundreds of alien species filled their seats, some towering over the humans, others small enough to fit in a child's hand. Minho had stood in this chamber for 5 years. Before him, other human ambassadors had stood here for 25 years more. 30 years of talking, 30 years of asking, 30 years of being told to wait. The human petition is denied, Council Prime Velkoth announced from his throne above. His voice boomed through the chamber, translated instantly into 1,000 languages. Earth does not qualify for Class 2 technology access. Minho did not move. Beside him, Hanali shifted slightly. She was the military attaché, a woman who had spent her life preparing for wars that diplomacy was supposed to prevent. Her jaw tightened, but she remained silent. "May I ask why?" Minho said calmly. "Your species lacks the maturity," Velkoth replied. His species, the Torth, resembled great birds with scales instead of feathers. "You have been members of this council for only 3 decades. Most species wait centuries. The Vryn were granted Class 2 access after 15 years, Minho pointed out. The Vryn proved themselves worthy, Velkoth said dismissively. Minho knew what that meant. The Vryn had resources the council wanted. Humans had offered everything, but Earth was far from the galactic core. The council members saw no profit in helping humanity grow stronger. "Very well," Minho said. "Then I wish to raise another matter. 3 weeks ago, the transport vessel Gentle Dawn was destroyed near Krell space. 3,000 human civilians died. We request a formal investigation." The chamber erupted in chittering, humming, and various forms of alien conversation. Minho waited for silence. Envoy Thraxis rose from the Krell section. The Krell were warriors, their bodies covered in thick armor plating. "The Krell Dominion has already investigated this incident. Pirates destroyed the vessel. We are not responsible for every criminal in our territory. The attack used military-grade weapons," Hana spoke up. "The blast patterns match Krell warships. Are you accusing the Dominion?" Thraxis growled. "I am stating facts," Hana replied evenly. "Enough," Velkoth interrupted. "The council finds no evidence of Krell involvement. The matter is closed." Minho looked up at the council prime. 3,000 lives dismissed in seconds. "The galaxy is dangerous, Ambassador Kim," Velkoth said. "Perhaps humans should remain closer to their home system until they are ready for the challenges of deep space." Jiwon Park, the chief science officer, leaned close to Minho. "He's doing this on purpose," she whispered. "They want us to leave." Minho knew she was right. For years the pattern had been clear. Human requests denied. Human complaints ignored. Human colonies raided by pirates that vanished before council peacekeepers arrived. The elder species of the galaxy saw humanity as weak, as primitives who had stumbled into space too early. They were not wrong about humanity being young. Humans had only developed faster than light travel 60 years ago. Most council species had been traveling the stars for thousands of years. But humanity had learned fast, too fast for the council's comfort. "I have one final statement," Minho said. The chamber quieted. Something in his tone made even Velkoth pause. "Humanity came to the stars with hope," Minho began. "We believed we would find friends among the galaxies. We believed in cooperation, in peace, in building something greater together." He looked around the chamber, meeting the eyes of dozens of different species. "For 30 years, we have followed every rule. We have paid every fee. We have asked permission for everything. We have been patient. We have been respectful. We have tried to prove ourselves worthy by your standards." Minho's voice did not rise, but it carried to every corner of the vast chamber. "Today we understand the truth. You will never see us as equals. You will never grant us what we need to protect our people. You will never investigate when we are attacked. You will never care when we die. Ambassador, you overstep," Velkoth warned. "No, Council Prime, I am finally speaking clearly," Minho said. "Humanity is withdrawing from the Galactic Council." Silence fell across the chamber like a physical weight. "We are recalling all our ambassadors. We are closing our embassy stations. We are ending all diplomatic relations with the Council and its member species," Minho continued. "Effective immediately," Velkoth laughed. It was a harsh, grating sound. You cannot survive without the Council. Your colonies depend on our trade routes. Your ships use our navigation beacons. Your people need our medical technology. You will be back within a year begging for readmission. Minho smiled. It was not a happy expression. We came in peace. We tried your way. Now we will do this ours. He turned and walked toward the exit. Hana and Jiwon followed. Behind them, the chamber erupted into noise. Some species jeered. Others seemed confused. A few watched in silence. As they reached the doorway, Thraxus called out, "The weak always run when faced with reality." Minho stopped. He did not turn around. "You should have treated us better when we were weak," he said. "You won't like us when we're strong." Then he walked out. The human delegation left Concordia Prime that same day. Their ships formed a convoy and departed for Earth. Other human vessels throughout Council space received the recall order. Within a week, every human ambassador, trader, student, and tourist had left Council territory. The galaxy laughed. On 1,000 worlds in 100 languages, the same message spread. The fragile humans could not handle the real galaxy. They would collapse without Council protection. They would come crawling back, but as weeks passed, something strange happened. The humans did not come back. They did not call. They did not send messages. They simply vanished behind their borders. Velkoth sat in his private chamber, reviewing reports. Human space had gone silent. Completely silent. No distress calls. No trade requests. No communication of any kind. Should we be concerned? His aide asked. Velkoth waved a scaled hand dismissively. They are licking their wounds. Let them sulk in their little corner of space. The galaxy is better without their constant whining. But deep in human space, something was happening. In shipyards orbiting Earth and Mars and the dozen colony worlds, construction had begun. Humanity was building something. They worked in secret, behind sensor barriers and silence. Minho Kim stood on the observation deck of Earth's orbital command station. Below, his homeworld turned slowly. Above, the stars waited. Hana joined him. "The Council thinks we quit," she said. "Good," Minho replied. "Let them think that. Let them laugh. Let them forget about us." "How long until we're ready?" Hana asked. Minho smiled. 12 months. Maybe less. Jiwon says the new drives are ahead of schedule. And then? Then we show them what humans can do when you force us to stand alone, Minho said. We tried diplomacy. We believed in their system. They taught us that in this galaxy you either have the power to protect yourself or you die. He turned to face Hana. "We won't die." Hana nodded. "No, we won't." In the distance, human warships moved between the stars, testing new weapons, practicing new tactics. Earth's children had come to the galaxy seeking peace. They had been given war instead. They would not make the mistake of being unprepared again. The galaxy would learn a simple truth. Humanity had not ended diplomacy. They had simply ended believing in someone else's version of it. And in the silence that followed humanity's withdrawal, something was being born. Something the Council would not expect, something they would not see coming, until it was too late. 3 months had passed since the humans left the Council. 3 months of silence that stretched across the galaxy like an empty void. Daeun Choi sat in the command chair of the stealth ship Shadow's Edge. Around her, the bridge crew worked in near darkness, their faces lit only by the glow of their screens. Outside, the stars shone bright, but no one could see her ship. The new stealth technology made them invisible to every scanner in the galaxy. "Target acquired," her sensor officer reported quietly. "Krell scout vessel bearing 270. "Distance?" Daeun asked. 200,000 kilometers. "Are they scanning for us?" "Yes, Captain. Full spectrum sweep." "They're looking hard." Daeun smiled. "Let them look. Maintain position." The Krell ship was hunting for humans. Over the past 3 months, the Council had sent dozens of spy vessels into human territory. Not one had returned. This would be another. "Captain, they're moving closer," the sensor officer said. "Hold position," Daeun ordered. The Krell ship approached slowly, its powerful sensors probing the empty space. It passed within 50,000 kilometers. Then 20,000. Then 10,000. It passed right by them. "They can't see us," the navigation officer whispered in awe. "No one can," Daeun replied. "That's the point. Weapons, lock target." "Locked, Captain." "Fire." A beam of pure energy lanced out from the Shadow's Edge. It struck the Krell ship's engine core. The vessel didn't explode. It simply stopped. All power died. Life support continued, but everything else went dark. Send the message, Dayun ordered. A recorded transmission played toward the disabled Krell ship. It was Minho's voice, calm and clear. You entered human space uninvited. Your ship is disabled, but your crew is safe. Drift back to your territory and deliver this message. Stay out of our space. The shadow's edge vanished into the darkness, leaving the Krell vessel drifting. On Concordia Prime, Velkoth listened to reports with growing irritation. 17 scout ships lost. 12 trade vessels missing near human borders. Strange gravitational anomalies appearing and disappearing throughout what used to be joint-use space. What are the humans doing? He demanded. His military advisor, a large creature called Mordax, rumbled his response. We don't know. They won't answer our messages. Our spy ships keep disappearing. The few that return report nothing. Empty space. No human activity. That's impossible, Velkoth snapped. They must be somewhere. We believe they have developed superior stealth technology, Mordax said carefully. Velkoth laughed, but it sounded forced. Human superior technology? They couldn't even qualify for Class 2 access. Perhaps that was a mistake, Mordax suggested. Before Velkoth could respond, an alert sounded. Thraxus, the Krell envoy, was requesting an emergency session. An hour later, the council chamber filled with worried delegates. Thraxus stood at the center, his armored body rigid with anger. The Krell Dominion has been attacked, he announced. The chamber erupted in noise. Velkoth called for silence. Explain, the Council Prime demanded. 10 days ago, we launched a raid on a human border colony, Thraxus said. It was a small settlement poorly defended. An easy target. You attacked them? One of the other delegates asked. They were alone outside council protection, Thraxus replied. Fair prey. Velkoth said nothing. By council law, humans were no longer protected. Technically, the Krell had done nothing wrong. What happened? Velkoth asked. Our fleet arrived at the human colony, Thraxus continued. 200 warships. The humans had perhaps 20 defense platforms. We expected easy victory. He paused, and for the first time, fear showed in his eyes. The humans destroyed our entire fleet in 30 minutes, Thraxus said quietly. Silence fell across the chamber. That's impossible, Velkoth said. 200 Krell warships? Your people are the finest warriors in the galaxy. Were, Thraxus corrected. The human weapons ignore our shields. They pass through our armor like it doesn't exist. Our ships died without landing a single hit. Survivors? Mordax asked. None, Thraxus said. No escape pods. No wreckage. Nothing. The human weapons destroyed everything so completely that nothing remained. It's as if our fleet simply vanished from existence. The chamber erupted into chaos. Species that had mocked humanity 3 months ago now whispered in fear. Far from Concordia Prime, in a secret facility orbiting one of Earth's moons, Bora Shin reviewed the test results of humanity's new weapons. She was the lead engineer of the secret project that had consumed every resource Earth could spare. The phase disruptors work perfectly, she reported to Admiral Hyan Kang. The Admiral, a stern man with silver hair, nodded. And the quantum drives? Operational. We can now cross distances that took weeks in mere hours, Bora replied. The Council's best ships are like slow boats compared to ours. Good, Hyun said. How many vessels are combat ready? 200 warships. 500 smaller craft, all equipped with the new technology. And the stealth system? Dayun's ships have been testing it for 3 months. The Council can't detect us at all. To their sensors, we simply don't exist. Hyun smiled. 30 years we asked them for help. 30 years they denied us. Now look what we built in 3 months of silence. We had the theory all along, Bora said. We just needed them to leave us alone long enough to build it. Back on Concordia Prime, Velkoth reviewed intelligence reports in his private chamber. The numbers troubled him. Human space was completely dark. No signals. No ships in transit, nothing. They're hiding something, he muttered. His aide entered. Council Prime, we've detected strange gravitational readings near the human border. Massive energy signatures appearing and disappearing. What kind of energy? Unknown. Our sensors can't identify it. Velkoth stood. Send a message to all council members. I want a full military survey of human space. Use whatever force necessary. Sir, that could be seen as an act of war. The humans have no military capable of threatening the Council, Velkoth said. They're primitives playing with toys. We need to know what they're hiding. The message went out. 20 Council species agreed to participate in the survey. They assembled a fleet of 3,000 ships. It was the largest military force gathered since the Council's founding. The fleet approached human space from 6 different directions. They prepared for resistance but expected little. Humans had no military tradition. They were traders and explorers, not warriors. They were wrong. Dayun watched the approaching fleet from the bridge of her ship. Around her, 50 other stealth vessels waited in perfect silence. They're not even trying to hide, her first officer observed. Why would they? Dayun replied. They think we're helpless. Orders, Captain? Wait until they cross the border, then send the message. The Council fleet crossed into human space. Immediately, every ship received the same transmission. Minho's voice, recorded months ago, played simultaneously on every bridge. You taught us we couldn't trust diplomacy. You taught us that the strong do as they wish and the weak suffer what they must. You taught us that in this galaxy might makes right. Thank you for the lesson. Now let us show you what we learned. The transmission ended. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the Council fleet began to die. Human ships appeared from nowhere. They materialized beside Council vessels and fired before anyone could react. Phase disruptors tore through shields and armor. Quantum torpedoes unmade matter itself. The Council ships tried to fight back, but they couldn't even see their attackers. In 20 minutes, 3,000 Council ships were disabled. Not destroyed, disabled, engines dead, weapons offline. Life support functioning. The crews lived, but their ships were now drifting metal tombs. Then the humans vanished again, leaving the disabled fleet floating in space. Rescue ships arrived 3 days later to recover the crews. Every ship bore the same message burned into their hulls in letters 10 meters tall. Stay out of human space. The galaxy fell silent. The laughter stopped. The jokes ended. In its place came something humanity had never received before: fear. Velkoth sat in the empty Council chamber, alone. Reports covered his desk. Military assessments, intelligence failures, economic projections. All of them said the same thing. Humanity had become the most powerful military force in the galaxy. Somehow, in just 3 months, they had surpassed civilizations thousands of years old. How? He whispered to the empty room. He would never know the truth. That humans had been developing the theory for decades. That being denied technology had forced them to invent their own. That being weak had taught them to become strong. On Earth, Minho stood before the leaders of humanity. They met in a simple room, no grand chambers or thrones. The Council is afraid, Hana reported. They're calling emergency sessions, demanding explanations. Let them demand, Minho said. We owe them nothing. What now? One of the other leaders asked. Minho looked at the faces around the table. Now we decide what kind of galaxy we want to live in. We have the power to take revenge. We have the power to conquer. We have the power to become everything we hated about the Council. He paused. Or we can build something better. 6 months after humanity's withdrawal, the galaxy had changed. The old certainties were gone. The Council that had ruled for 10,000 years now trembled. Taeyang Song stood on the bridge of the assault carrier Indomitable. Through the view screen, he watched as 12 human fleets moved into position around 12 different targets. Each target was a Council military stronghold. Each one had been chosen carefully. All fleets report ready, his communications officer said. Taeyang nodded. Send the signal. Operation Swift Justice begins now. Across hundreds of light years, human ships dropped out of quantum drive simultaneously. They appeared above Council military stations, weapons already charged, shields already active. The Battle of Krell Station lasted 4 hours. The Krell had built their orbital defenses over centuries. Massive weapons platforms ringed their homeworld like deadly satellites. Energy shields that could withstand a supernova protected their cities. A fleet of 500 warships stood guard. The humans brought only 50 ships. Sena Yu piloted her fighter through the chaos of battle. She was the best pilot in the human fleet, and today she proved why. Her small craft danced between the Krell defenses, impossible to hit, deadly in her strikes. Target the shield generators, her squadron leader ordered. Make a hole for the capital ships. Sena's fingers moved over the controls. Her fighter carried new weapons, small but powerful, phase missiles that existed in multiple dimensions at once. They passed through the Krell shields as if they weren't there. Firing, she said calmly. 3 missiles streaked toward the primary shield generator. They hit simultaneously. The generator didn't explode. It simply stopped existing. One moment it was there, the next it was gone. Matter converted to energy so completely that nothing remained. Shield breach confirmed. Taeyang's voice came over the comm. All ships advance. The Indomitable and its sister ships moved forward. Their main weapons fired in perfect coordination, not at the cities below, not at the military stations, at the infrastructure. Power generation facilities ceased to function. Communication satellites went dark. Weapons platforms lost targeting capability. In 4 hours, the Krell's ability to wage war was completely crippled. Then the humans simply left. They didn't land troops. They didn't demand surrender. They disabled the defenses and departed. The pattern repeated at 11 other targets. Human fleets appeared, destroyed military capability, and vanished. No conquest. No occupation. Just swift, precise destruction of the Council's ability to threaten anyone. In Earth's command center, Yoonji Nam watched the reports come in. She was the director of intelligence, a woman who had spent her career studying every species in the galaxy. She knew their strengths. She knew their weaknesses. Most importantly, she knew which ones deserved mercy. All operations successful, an aide reported. 0 human casualties. Enemy casualties? Yoonji asked. Minimal. We targeted infrastructure, not personnel. Most enemy forces surrendered when they realized they couldn't fight back. Yoonji nodded with satisfaction. Good, we're not monsters. We're just done being victims. On Concordia Prime, panic spread through the council chamber. Delegate after delegate stood to speak, their voices rising in fear and anger. The humans have destroyed our primary defense station. They crippled our fleet in minutes. Their weapons are beyond anything we've encountered. Velkoth sat on his throne silent. He had created this situation. He had dismissed the humans as primitives. He had laughed when they withdrew. Now his galaxy was burning, and he had no solution. Thraxus stood, his armored body showing signs of recent damage. The humans struck Krell space with surgical precision. They destroyed our orbital defenses but spared our cities. They could have killed billions. They chose not to. What are you saying? Another delegate asked. I'm saying they're sending a message, Thraxus replied. They can destroy us whenever they wish. But they're choosing restraint. Restraint? Velkoth finally spoke. They've attacked 12 worlds. They've destroyed property worth trillions of credits. They've destroyed military targets only, Thraxus corrected. No civilian casualties. No cities bombed. No populations enslaved. They've done exactly what we should have expected. And what is that? They've shown us we were wrong about them, Thraxus said quietly. Before Velkoth could respond, every screen in the chamber lit up simultaneously. A broadcast was coming through, overriding all security protocols. It was being transmitted to every council world, every ship, every communication device in council space. Minho's face appeared on the screens. He sat at a simple desk wearing his gray diplomatic uniform. He looked tired but determined. People of the galaxy, he began. 6 months ago, humanity withdrew from the Galactic Council. Today, I will tell you why. For the next 10 minutes, Minho spoke. He laid out evidence of council corruption, how certain species received preferential treatment, how others were sabotaged to maintain the power structure, how the council had deliberately prevented humanity from accessing technology that would have saved lives. He showed documents, communications between council members discussing how to keep humans weak, orders to ignore pirate attacks on human vessels, financial records proving the council had funded the pirates themselves. We did not leave because we were weak, Minho said. We left because we finally understood that your system was designed to keep us weak. You feared what we might become. You were right to fear. He leaned forward, looking directly into the camera. But here is what you should understand. We do not seek to replace your tyranny with our own. We do not want to rule the galaxy. We simply want to live in a galaxy where might does not make right, where the strong do not prey on the weak, where different species can thrive without fearing each other. Minho paused. To the species who showed us kindness during our time in the council, we remember. To those who voted against helping us, who laughed when we left, who celebrated our supposed weakness, we also remember. The broadcast ended, but not before Minho added one final statement. We are offering an alternative. The Terran Accords, A new alliance based on equality, not hierarchy, based on merit, not age, based on respect, not fear. Any species that wishes to join us is welcome. Any species that wishes to attack us will face the same fate as the military stations we just destroyed. The galaxy erupted in chaos. Within hours, 3 species formally withdrew from the Council. Within days, 17 more followed. They all sent the same message to Earth. We wish to discuss the Terran Accords. Velkoth watched his empire crumble. The council that had stood for 10,000 years was falling apart in a matter of weeks. We must strike back, he told his advisors. We cannot let the humans destroy everything we've built. Mordax, his military advisor, shook his head. With what? They've crippled our primary fleets. Their technology is superior to ours. Their ships can travel faster, hit harder, and disappear without a trace. Then we surrender. Velkoth snarled. No, Mordax said carefully. We negotiate, never. I will not bow to primitives. Then you will watch the council die, Mordax replied. Because without negotiation we have no future. But Velkoth refused to listen. In his arrogance, he believed the council was too important to fail. He believed the galaxy needed the old order. He was wrong. On Concordia Prime, a new council prime was elected. Her name was Meridax, and she represented a species that had always treated humans with respect. Her first act was to reach out to Earth. Minho received the message in his office on Earth. Meridax appeared on his screen, her face showing genuine concern. Ambassador Kim, I wish to speak with you about peace, she said. I am not an ambassador anymore, Minho replied. I am the coordinator of the Terran Accords. Then I wish to speak with the coordinator, Meridax said. Please, the galaxy is tearing itself apart. We need your help. Minho considered her words carefully. The council had 30 years to help us. Why should we help you now? Because you're better than we were, Meridax said simply. You've proven that. You had the power to destroy us. You chose not to. That shows wisdom we lacked. What do you want? I want to know if there's room in your Terran Accords for species like mine. For those of us who want change but were trapped in the old system. Minho was silent for a long moment. Then he smiled. Send a delegation to Earth, let's talk. In the dark corners of the galaxy, Velkoth plotted his revenge. He had been removed from power, but he still had allies. The Krell, the Mordesh, the Helion, species that believed in the old ways, species that refused to bow to humans. They called themselves the Iron Compact. They were determined to restore the old order, no matter the cost. The humans are strong, Velkoth told his new allies, but they are also merciful. That is their weakness. They could have destroyed us, but chose not to. They still believe in restraint, so, one of the Krell leaders asked. So we will show them that mercy is a mistake, Velkoth replied. We will make them pay for their compassion. We will make them regret not killing us when they had the chance. The Iron Compact began to gather its forces. They prepared for a war that would shake the galaxy. But they did not understand something important about humans. Something the old council had never understood. Humans had not shown mercy because they were weak. They had shown mercy because they were strong enough to choose it, and if pushed too far. 9 months had passed since humanity withdrew from the Galactic Council. The galaxy was splitting into 3 parts, the old council shrinking every day, the Terran Accords growing rapidly, and the Iron Compact, gathering in the shadows. Inho Bayek sat across from Ambassador Velth, a representative of the Minaran species. The Minarans were small, peaceful beings who had been bullied by the Council for centuries. They were the 17th species to request membership in the Terran Accords. We are tired of being afraid, Velth said softly. For generations we paid tribute to stronger species. We gave them our resources, our technology, our dignity. We did this because we had no choice. And now? Inho asked gently. He was the director of the Diplomatic Corps, a man who believed that humanity's greatest strength was not their weapons, but their ability to listen. Now we see a different path, Velth replied. We see species of all sizes working together in your accords. We see the strong protecting the weak, not exploiting them. We wish to be part of that, Inho smiled. Then welcome to the Accords. You'll find we do things differently here. Across the galaxy, similar conversations were happening. The Terran Accords now included 43 species. Some were powerful, some were weak, but all were treated equally. All had a voice. All had rights. Junaro stood in her laboratory studying the biological data of their newest member species. She was a xenobiologist who had spent years learning how different species thought, felt, and communicated. Her work was crucial to making the Accords function. The Healthans breathe methane, she explained to her team. We'll need to build separate facilities for them. And the crystallids communicate through light patterns. We'll need translators who understand frequency shifts. That's a lot of effort for just 2 species, one of her assistants said. Every species is worth the effort, Juno replied firmly. That's the whole point of what we're building. No one gets left behind because they're different. It was this attitude that made the Terran Accords grow so quickly. Species that had been ignored by the Council found acceptance with humanity. Species that had been exploited found protection. Species that had been afraid found hope. But not everyone was happy about the changes. In a secret base in the Outer Rim, Velkoth met with the leaders of the Iron Compact. The Krell brought warships. The Mordish brought weapons. The Helion brought ancient technology salvaged from dead civilizations. We now have 5 species in our alliance, Velkoth announced. Together we command 4,000 warships. We have warriors who have fought for centuries. We have weapons the humans have never seen. And what is your plan? The Krell commander asked. His name was Rathax, and he had lost his brother in the Battle of Krell Station. He wanted revenge. The humans are weak in one way, Velkoth said. They care. They protect those who join them. So we attack their protected species. We make them choose between defending everyone and defending themselves. They'll send their fleets, Rathax pointed out. Exactly, Velkoth smiled. And we'll be ready. We've studied their tactics. We've developed countermeasures to their stealth technology. We've built weapons specifically designed to penetrate their shields. When they come to help their weak allies, we'll destroy them. The plan was set. The Iron Compact would strike at 3 Terran Accord worlds simultaneously. Small colonies that had recently joined. Poorly defended. Easy targets, or so they thought. The attack came without warning. Iron Compact fleets appeared above 3 different worlds. They launched their assault expecting quick victory. They were wrong. Min Jae-wan commanded the humanitarian relief fleet, but his ships carried more than medical supplies. When the distress calls came from the 3 colonies, his fleet was already in motion. All ships quantum jump on my mark, Min Jae ordered. His fleet of 200 ships vanished from normal space. They traveled through quantum tunnels, crossing distances that should take days in mere minutes. They appeared above the 3 threatened worlds simultaneously. The Iron Compact had brought superior numbers, but humans had superior everything else. The battle was swift and brutal. Human ships phased through enemy fire. Their weapons disabled enemy vessels with surgical precision. But this time something was different. The humans weren't just disabling ships. They were capturing them. Tractor beams locked onto disabled enemy vessels. Boarding teams secured the crews. Within an hour, all 3 battles ended with the same result: human victory and enemy capture. Velkoth received the news in disbelief. How? We had them outnumbered 3-1. Their quantum drives allow them to concentrate their forces anywhere in the galaxy, Mordax explained. He had not joined the Iron Compact, but he was monitoring events. They can defend every world in their accords simultaneously. Numbers don't matter when you can be everywhere at once. But what happened next shocked everyone even more. The captured Iron Compact soldiers were transported to holding facilities on human worlds. They expected torture. They expected imprisonment. They expected execution. Instead, they received medical care. Their injuries were treated. They were given food, shelter, and basic comforts. Human doctors worked alongside Accord physicians to ensure every prisoner received proper care. Rathax, the Krell commander, woke up in a medical bed. His broken bones had been set. His wounds had been cleaned and bandaged. A human doctor stood beside him. Why? Rathax asked in confusion. Why help me? I tried to kill your people. The doctor, a woman named Sora Kim, smiled gently. Because you're injured. That's what we do. We help the injured. But I'm your enemy. You were an enemy soldier, Sora corrected. Now you're a patient. There's a difference. Over the following weeks, the prisoners were treated well. They were allowed to contact their families. They were given information about the Terran Accords. They were shown what humanity was building, and then, one by one, they were sent home. With all their injuries healed. With messages of peace. With an offer. Join the Accords or at least stop fighting. This confused the Iron Compact more than any military defeat could have. They had expected humans to be angry. to seek revenge, to execute prisoners. Instead, the humans had treated their enemies better than their own leaders ever had. It's a trick, Velkoth insisted. They're trying to make us look weak. But soldiers returning from human captivity told different stories. They spoke of being treated with respect, of seeing humans work alongside dozens of different species in harmony, of witnessing technology shared freely instead of hoarded. The Iron Compact began to fracture. The Mordesh withdrew first. Their leader, after speaking with returned prisoners, announced they would seek peace with the Terran Accords. The Helion followed a week later. Velkoth was left with only the Krell, and even they were wavering. On Earth, Minho met with Meridax again. The new Council Prime had been working to reform the old Council, but progress was slow. More species leave every week, Meridax said wearily. The Council that ruled for 10,000 years will be gone within a year. Is that such a bad thing? Minho asked. Perhaps not, Meridax admitted, but it's frightening. The galaxy needs order. Without the Council, there could be chaos, or there could be something better, Minho replied. The Council maintained order through fear and control. We're building order through cooperation and respect. It's harder. It's slower. But it's worth it. May I ask you something? Meridax said. Of course. Why do you treat your enemies so well? The prisoners you captured could have killed your people, yet you healed them and sent them home. Why? Minho was quiet for a moment. Because we remember what it's like to be weak. We remember asking for help and being denied. We remember being attacked and having no one defend us. We remember all of it. He looked at Meridax directly. We could become just like the old Council. We have the power. We have the weapons. We could rule through fear and force, but then we'd become the very thing we hated, so we choose a different path. What if that path makes you vulnerable? Meridax asked. Then we'll be vulnerable, Minho replied. But we'll be right. And in the long run, being right matters more than being safe. Meridax nodded slowly. I understand now why so many species follow you. It's not just your technology, it's your principles. Our principles are our technology, Minho said. Everything we've built came from working together, sharing knowledge, respecting each other. That's not weakness, that's strength. In his hideout, Velkoth watched his alliance crumble. Only the Krell remained, and even they were questioning the fight. We need something bigger, he muttered. Something that will force the humans to show their true nature. Something that will prove they're not as noble as they pretend. His advisors looked at each other nervously. They had seen the madness growing in Velkoth's eyes. He had lost everything and would do anything to get it back. I know where we can find a superweapon, Velkoth said quietly. The ancients left behind technology before they vanished. Technology that could destroy a solar system. That's forbidden, one advisor protested. The ancient weapons are too dangerous. Even the Council feared them. The Council is dead, Velkoth snapped. And soon humanity will be too. I'll show the galaxy what happens when you challenge the natural order. I'll show them that the strong are meant to rule and the weak are meant to serve. He smiled, and it was not a sane expression. I'll start with Earth itself. 18 months after humanity's withdrawal from the Galactic Council, the galaxy had been transformed. The Terran Accords included 63 species now. The old Council existed only in name, with fewer than 20 members remaining. And somewhere in the darkness, Velkoth prepared his final strike. Minho stood in the Accord Council chamber on Earth. Unlike the Grand Dome on Concordia Prime, this room was simple. Circular tables where representatives sat as equals. No thrones. No hierarchy. Just voices united in common purpose. The Iron Compact has gone quiet, Hana reported. She was now the security director for the Accords. Our intelligence shows they're gathering near the ancient ruins in the Void Sector. The ancient ruins? Jiwan asked with concern. She was now the chief science officer for all Accord research. Those sites are forbidden. The technology there is too dangerous. Velkoth doesn't care about danger anymore, Yunji added. He's obsessed with revenge. Our sources say he's lost his grip on reality. Minho absorbed this information quietly. Can we stop him before he reaches the weapon? No, Hana admitted. He's already there. Our scouts report massive energy readings. He's activated something. Then we prepare Earth's defenses, Minho decided. If he's coming here, we'll be ready. Admiral Hyun Kang stood. The Accord fleet is at full strength. 3,000 warships, all equipped with our latest technology. We can defend Earth against anything. Can we defend against ancient weapon? Jiwan asked quietly. Those devices were built by a civilization that vanished a million years ago. Their technology makes ours look primitive. Then we'll have to be smarter, Minho said, not just stronger. In the void sector, Velkoth stood before a massive weapon platform that floated in empty space. It was a sphere of dark metal, covered in symbols no living species could read. The ancients had built it for reasons unknown. Then they had vanished, leaving their terrible creations behind. The translation matrix is complete, one of Velkoth's scientists reported. We can activate the weapon. And its range? Velkoth asked. Unlimited. It fires through quantum space. Distance is irrelevant. It can strike any target in the galaxy instantly. Velkoth smiled. Target Earth's sun. Sir, the scientist hesitated. That will destroy the entire solar system. Billions will die. Not just humans. All the species gathered there for the Accord Summit. Exactly, Velkoth replied. They'll see what happens when you defy the natural order. They'll see that the strong cannot be overthrown by the weak. But sir, many of those species are innocent. They've done nothing wrong. Velkoth turned to face the scientist. His eyes held no sanity. Their crime was following humans. Their punishment is death. Fire the weapon. The scientist's hands shook as he entered the commands. The ancient weapon came alive. Energy gathered at its core. In moments it would fire. In moments Earth's sun would become a supernova. On Earth, alarms sounded across every defense station. Scientists detected the massive energy buildup. They calculated its target. They realized what was about to happen. We have 2 minutes until impact, Jiwan announced. The energy signature matches ancient technology. Our shields won't stop it. Evacuate Earth? Someone suggested. No time, Hyan said grimly. We can't move billions of people in 2 minutes. Minho stood calmly in the center of the chamber. Around him, representatives of 63 species waited for him to panic, to despair, to show fear. Instead, he smiled. Jiwan, he said quietly. Activate Project Bulwark. Jiwan's eyes widened. Are you sure? We've never tested it at full scale. Do we have a choice? No. Activating now. Around Earth, around Mars, around every human world and orbital station, massive devices activated. They had been built in secret over the past year. Humanity's greatest scientific minds had designed them. They represented the ultimate expression of human innovation. They were probability shields. They didn't block energy or matter. They blocked possibility itself. The ancient weapon fired. A beam of pure destruction crossed the galaxy in an instant, traveling through quantum space. It should have struck Earth's sun. It should have caused it to explode. Instead, the beam simply ceased to exist. Not blocked. Not deflected. It simply never completed its journey. The probability of it reaching its target became 0. In the void sector, Velkoth stared at his instruments in disbelief. What happened? Why didn't it fire? It did fire, sir, the scientist replied in amazement. The beam left the weapon. Our sensors tracked it across the galaxy. But then, it just stopped existing, as if reality itself rejected it. Velkoth screamed in rage. Fire again. Keep firing until something happens. The ancient weapon fired 12 more times. 12 beams of destruction crossed the galaxy. 12 times they simply ceased to exist before reaching Earth. On Earth, Minho watched the readings. Our probability shields are holding. Each shot depletes them by 8%. We can withstand 3 more attacks before the system fails. Then we need to stop him now, Hana said. Already on it, Admiral Hyan replied. The fleet is quantum jumping to his position now. Velkoth fired again. And again. The 16th shot finally broke through the probability shields. But by then the human fleet had arrived. 3,000 human warships appeared around the ancient weapon platform. They surrounded it completely. Velkoth's small force of 200 Krell ships moved to intercept. Target the ancient weapon, Hyan ordered. Disable it before it can fire again. Sir, his weapons officer hesitated. If we destroy that platform, the energy release could destroy this entire sector. Then we don't destroy it. We make it impossible to fire. Human phase disruptors struck the weapon with precise accuracy, not at its structure, at its control systems, at the newly installed interface that allowed Velkoth to operate it. In seconds, the ancient device went silent, returning to the dormant state it had held for 1,000,000 years. Weapons disabled, the officer reported. It's dead. Velkoth's fleet tried to fight. They fired on the human ships with everything they had. But human shields held. Human weapons returned fire with precision. One by one, the Krell ships were disabled. Not destroyed, disabled. Finally, only Velkoth's command ship remained. Hyun opened a communication channel. "Velkoth," he said calmly, "it's over. Surrender your ship." "Never," Velkoth screamed. "You're supposed to be weak. You're supposed to die. You're primitives. You don't deserve to win." "We won because we learned something you never did," Hyun replied. "We learned that survival isn't about being the strongest. It's about being smart enough to work together, kind enough to make allies, wise enough to prepare for the worst while hoping for the best. You'll become like us," Velkoth shouted. "You have the power now. Soon you'll use it to oppress others. Soon you'll become the very thing you fought against." "Will we?" Hyun asked. "Let's see. Velkoth, you just tried to commit genocide. You tried to kill billions of innocent people. By any law in the galaxy, you deserve death." He paused, and when he spoke again, his voice was hard but fair. "But we're not going to kill you. We're going to capture you. We're going to put you on trial. And we're going to let the Accords decide your punishment. Because that's what civilized beings do. They follow laws, not vengeance." Velkoth laughed, but it was the laughter of madness. "You're fools. All of you. The galaxy needs rulers. The weak need the strong to guide them." "No," Hyun said quietly. "The galaxy needs partners. The weak need the strong to protect them, not rule them. That's the difference you'll never understand." Velkoth's ship was boarded. Marines took him into custody. He fought them, screaming about the natural order and the stupidity of mercy. On Earth, Minho addressed the Accord Council. Representatives from 63 species filled the chamber. More were arriving every day. The old council was officially dissolving. Most of its remaining members had requested to join the Accords. "Today we faced a weapon that could have destroyed us," Minho began. "A weapon wielded by someone who believed that might makes right, that the strong should rule and the weak should obey, that mercy is weakness and kindness is stupidity." He looked around the chamber. He was wrong. "We survived because we prepared together, because we shared our knowledge, because we believed that every life matters, not just the powerful ones." Minho paused. "Velkoth will stand trial. He will face justice, but not human justice. Accord justice. All species here will have a voice in deciding his fate. Because that's how we do things, not through the will of one species, but through the wisdom of many." A representative from the Minoran species, tiny beings that had been bullied for generations, stood to speak. "I have a question, Coordinator. You have the most powerful military in the galaxy. You have technology beyond anything we imagined. You could rule us all. Why don't you?" Minho smiled. "Because ruling was never the goal. Living in peace was the goal. Building something better was the goal. And you can't build something better by doing the same things the old council did." "But what if someone challenges your authority?" another representative asked. "What if a species tries to break away or attack others?" "Then we'll stop them," Minho replied. "But we'll stop them the right way. With laws, not tyranny. With justice, not revenge. With protection for the innocent, not punishment for the weak." He stood and walked to the center of the chamber. The Galactic Council failed because it was built on fear. The Terran Accords succeed because they're built